Good morning, girls. Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to Two English Acres. My name is Kristin if you're just tuning in. And I gotta do a garden tour. It's been a while. I think it's been a good 4 to 5 weeks since the last time I did a garden tour. And I've been slowly harvesting. This summer has been really hot and dry, really dry. And so the plants have been stressed. Things aren't coming in as they usually do. But I have been getting small harvests here and there. I've been dehydrating my herbs. I still have some more herbs to do, but squash has been coming in. Squash and zucchini, those two, we don't worry about them. The only thing that we worry about are the dreaded vine borers. Yes, vine borers. I had to pull out 2 beautiful zucchini plants because I noticed that they were starting to wilt and they weren't producing like they should. And so upon closer inspection, when you get down in there, you can see them.
This one was my experiment. This guy is a monster. Let me back up so you can see it. It's huge. If you can see my trellis there in comparison, it's massive. And I don't see any damage on this one. This one has been producing some really big fruit. Another zucchini plant. This is one yellow squash, straight neck, summer yellow squash. And this one has produced a good 12 to 15 fruits for me. Just this one plant. This is why you do not need a lot of squash plants, because they will just keep producing. It's coming out here into the pathway. I wanted to show you something else that I've been battling. You see these little tiny eggs on here? I don't know if it'll focus. Let's see if I can get it to focus. See those? Those are the squash, I don't really know the proper name for them. They're squash bugs, and they will lay probably about, I don't know, a dozen eggs on the back of leaves. And I have probably taken off about 100 of them. And they just keep laying them, but you have to be really proactive. So I will just, you can either rub them off, burn them off. What I do is I just tear that little tiny portion off and I drown them. I drown them in some soapy water. I wanted to show you. This one has a double dose, triple dose. You don't have to use chemicals. Go through once every 4 or 5 days. I'll rip these suckers off. Here, these are my bush beans. Now, the problem that I have with bush beans, they don't like to stand up for me. They fall over. And I've had so much pest trouble. They have been giving me a few. Every day I probably pick off maybe 4 or 5 per plant. I had about 7 bush beans and I pulled 3, and I had 8 because I pulled 4. And I had one there and I had one here. I had one here, but I planted a habanero in its place because nothing was happening. But they haven't been doing well in the heat. But you can see there's still a lot of blooms on these ones. And where was it at? Right here. We have some produce coming on it. So I'm going to leave them alone. A couple days ago, I was able to pressure can 3 quarts of green beans. So that was good. Let me show you the pole beans. These guys are scary. These are, there's 3 like teepees. They're 9-foot poles, and if they were to keep going, I would say that they would probably reach 12 to 15 feet. These guys are producing like
crazy. I will definitely do pole beans in the future, but see this matted mess up here? We have to fix that. We cannot grow like that. I can't reach up there. I don't know what I was thinking, but you see all the blooms? They're just gonna keep on producing everywhere. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come up with a different plan for the pole beans, but they're coming in and they're delicious. See if I can give you a reference. So I'm about 5'7.5". I used to be 5'8". I'm shrinking. A 5'7.5". Look at that. There's no I can't reach that. Mike is 6'1", so he's gonna have to get on a little step stool and help me. So we've been working on that. I also pressure canned zucchini and squash. I love to make zucchini bread every year, so I shredded a bunch of zucchini, portioned it up, threw it in the freezer. So we'll do some zucchini bread here. I have an excellent recipe that I've been doing for, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years. And what else have I been doing? I've been drying herbs. I've gotten quite a few. Now this year I just did an experiment with my herbs. So I put a bunch of different things in here. I harvested my Thai basil. I don't like Thai basil, I found out, because Thai basil, it smells like black licorice. My basil plants came back. I harvested them all down for garlic scape basil pesto. This right here is holy basil. I was going to do an herbal garden, and I think maybe that's a chore for next year. This year I've had way too much on my plate. And so I have been drying herbs. So I have nice little containers of some herbs that I did. But the great thing about gardening is, you know, if you don't make a mistake, you're not going to learn. You have to make mistakes to learn. You have to do some trial and error. This is my 3rd year gardening. I've made a lot of mistakes. So I've learned a lot. I learned that I'm not going to plant Thai basil next year because I don't like Thai basil. And it seemed to intensify when I dried it. I don't like black licorice. I have a neighbor down the road, and he messaged me, and he said, hey, would you like some plants, some extra plants? And so he gave me tomato plants and eggplant and a couple other things. And so he also, before we left, he gave me this bag that he did last year. It was frozen ratatouille. I never had ratatouille. Now, I don't know if this is the real deal kind of ratatouille or this was his version of ratatouille, but delicious. Delicious. So I cubed up some squash and zucchini and threw those in the freezer for when I roast that ratatouille. Because the other thing I want to show you, he gave me some eggplants, and this is the first year that I have been ever able to grow eggplants. Look at the eggplants. Oh my gosh. They're still flowering. Now, when you plant eggplants, you're going to get the flea beetle, okay? The flea beetle. I never had a problem with the flea beetle. Well, this year we found out what a flea beetle was. This guy. I don't know when to harvest these. I'm going to have to figure it out, but this one's not doing anything. That one's huge. I don't know if you chalk it up to the heat. I don't know, but this right here, this one is starting to fruit. I don't think this one has done anything. Oh, it looks like something's growing. I don't know what that is. And again, My experiment this year was to put stuff in the ground, and I have an eggplant right there and right there growing. So that's going to be part of our Ratatouille. Look at, they think I'm going to throw them something. Put this trellis up because we put grapes in. And I threw a couple beans on this one. I had some space. Now this I let go. This is so weedy. These I just put a couple honey rocks on. I thought, did you get some food up your nose, Clementine? And it wasn't doing anything. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but I can see that we're starting to get a little fruit. There's nothing down here that is fruiting. Hi, girls. So I don't think we're going to get honey rock this right here. Is my sad lettuce bed. It's been so hot. It's completely bolted. I was thinking about letting this go to seed. I let it go to seed last year and I harvested all the seeds. I think I'm just going to pull everything. I've been giving it to the girls. We've eaten a lot of salads. And my cucumbers have been doing okay. This time last year, they were completely up and over the trellis. They have not liked this weather either, but I've been getting probably 1 to 2 cucumbers a day off of the vine. Cucumbers. I don't think I'm ever going to do these guys again. Number one, this year I learned that pickling cucumbers, they bring in all of the cucumber beetles. There's one right there. See it? I hate these suckers. I try and smash them. I've probably killed, I don't know, 100 of them, but they cause wilt. They kill. There's another one. They destroy your cucumbers. You work really hard, and when you organic garden, I don't spray any kind of pesticide. One time I sprayed an organic botanical spray, and it did help. In the very beginning, my tomatoes were being killed off by the flea beetle. If you have eggplant, you're gonna have a flea beetle. So my tiny little tomatoes were just being eaten alive by the flea beetle. I used this organic spray and they disappeared. They were fine. Let's talk tomatoes. So I follow a gal named Jess. Her channel is Roots and Refuge, and she is inspiring. She gives beautiful inspirational messages. She'll have me crying over my carrots, and this is really overgrown. This is a little embarrassing, but I have had a little bit of I didn't do a really great job of trellising everything. This is the first year that I'm using. These are 16-foot cattle panels, 16 by 4 that I cut in half. Right there, you can see the cattle panel. So each of these are 8 feet long, and I put 3 tomatoes per panel. And then also some of these have cages. You can see how it's just completely going crazy. Even though I didn't do a great job with the trellising, they are doing absolutely amazing. I'm going to have so many tomatoes, but I don't label. I know what the aromas are, but you see, oh my gosh, there's so many tomatoes. We've been harvesting these guys for a couple weeks. These are sun gold tomatoes. Oh, they are good. They are really good. They're so sweet. So, look at this guy. I can see my hand. It's just huge. I can't wait for it to ripen. But these are my tomatoes. And so I followed Jess on Roots and Refuge. And this is how she trellises her tomatoes. Now, she starts them a foot off the ground. Next year, I will do that because, again, I am 5'7.5". These are probably 6 foot. They're really tall. Tomatoes, but look at this. See how it's on the ground? So unfortunately, I am dealing with the dreaded blight. I have been trying to take them off as I find them, but they are going all the way up. This is blight, but that's okay. We are still going to get a lot of tomatoes, probably more than I know what to do with. And I planted lots of different kinds of tomatoes. I planted Roma and beefsteak and early girls and Marglobes, one called Heinz, which is supposed to be good for like ketchups and barbecue sauces. This is not too shabby for an amateur gardener. I don't think it is. Now this is a crazy overgrown. This is, I need to trim this, but these are my sweet cherry tomatoes. I don't think I have any fully ripe. I have a couple that's coming in. Look at blight. Blight. Thankfully, we are almost to the finish line, so we're almost to August. I think we'll be okay. I could not remember what this beast was. This had all male flowers. It's huge. It's one plant. And I looked back on a video and it said, I told myself it was acorn squash. Now, is it? Oh, it's cucumber beetles. See? Right there. Is it acorn squash? I don't know. We'll find out. Over here, butternut. This is 2 butternut plants. That's it. 2. And I've got probably a dozen. We don't eat that much butternut. But they're growing. They're growing and they look very healthy. I want to show you another destroyer of the worlds. This, my friends, is called the Japanese beetle. And if you noticed all the holes in my beans and everywhere else, let me kill this guy. Stinking. This is the culprit. I have killed hundreds. I walk around 2 times a day with a soapy jar, knocking them in, and they just keep coming back. They're really, really bad this year. These things in my hand, but guess what? Watch this. Hey girls, what's this? Chickens love them. Sunflower. I have a few of them. I give the girls sunflower seeds. This is my onion bed. This doesn't look great. But they weren't doing great. They're falling over. I know they're not ready yet. I have been trimming the tops off of them. Don't judge. I'm not an onion person. These are my pepper plants. Pepper plants are doing okay. I've gotten a couple peppers. They are starting to come in. These are the Carnival Peppers, so they'll be purple and different colors. They haven't done great though. Not really. These right here are my sugar snap peas. Now, lesson learned. These got so tall. They got about 10 feet tall that they fell over on themselves and they snapped. So I had to trim these back. They were hanging back on themselves. So next year I'm going to raise up, this is another cattle panel. I'm going to raise up the cattle panel about a foot and a half off the ground so they'll have more support. These guys have been excellent. They're constantly growing. And I planted them really thin, so next year I'm going to double that. These are my leeks. Very, very first time growing leeks. They take like 100 days or something like that. It's weed. Potatoes. These are my potatoes. No, they're not sickly. This is what they're supposed to look like. I planted my potatoes really early this year, and you know when your potatoes are ready when they start to die back. So they're falling over. Now the thing about this is you can't hill them in a bed. So we go down, these are 12-inch beds. We go down as deep as we can, and then we just plant the potato. Next year, I'm going to try grow bags because you can get double the amount of potatoes in a smaller area. That way I will have a free bag. Carrots. I didn't do a good job thinning. I went through here and I have to show you something really quick first. Okay. I did an experiment. And someone in my gardening group said, when you pull the carrots, just replant them. Well, I did 4, 3 died. Guess what? That one made it. That one carrot is living amongst my eggplant. So it can work. I mean, when you thin out carrots, you're throwing away probably 50 to 100 good carrots. Here's a carrot right here. Look how big that is. Now the thing is, we don't know how deep that's going to be. I tested some on the other side and they were not ready. Oh wow, look at that. Maybe this side's ready. I'm gonna have to get in here and check it out. We may be pressure canning some carrots this week. One mistake as a new gardener is I never plan for enough. Ever. So I have a 12-year-old and he loves pickled banana peppers. And last year I had 2, and so I thought 3 will be enough. Really, Kristin? 3 banana pepper plants are not enough to can. I mean, you could probably do a small amount, but they've been coming in pretty regularly, but I've had to wait a few days, and really, look at that beautiful bee. Beautiful. Don't mind the weeds in here. We have to still get in here and cardboard and fabric this, but I only did 3. And this one's not producing at all. There's another tomato plant I put in there as an experiment. And this is my jalapeno plant. I don't know why I never thought of it, but Our Urban Homestead, a gal I watch on YouTube, she picks her jalapenos and she chops them and freezes them. Duh. I'm thinking, how am I going to make salsa with 1 jalapeno? So, blueberries did okay. My blueberries are turning pink. And I think it's because I have to get the soil acidifier in there. I have a very naughty chicken. And that naughty chicken, one of these gals, she got in here and she ate all my blueberries. That one's not ready. But look at my blueberries are turning pink. I have to get in here. This one hasn't done anything yet. Tomorrow we're going to go to the blueberry festival. We're going to go to Otter Lake, the blueberry festival tomorrow. My blueberries, we just put them in last year, so I didn't expect a lot from them this year. That's the garden. It's cold, but it's okay. It's still good. Thanks for sticking with me as I chug along and I learn all this. I just started this YouTube as a way to keep track of what I'm doing. I'm thinking it's going to be nice to look back on it in the winter when I can't be out here gardening. But I hope you have a really blessed week, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're doing, how your garden is doing. If you're interested in gardening, if you haven't started gardening, let me know what's going on with you. And have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time.